All right. How you doing today, y'all? Want to double check that everything's working. All right, cool. Looks like we're up and running. All right. Overall, good game. I think we could talk about this game as just an overall positive. I know last stream I came on stream and I was just ranting the entire time, and it was because I was watching this Bulls team just be so done with their half-court offense, and I was really upset with how things were going in that one. But there's a couple things I want to talk about in this one, and then I want to actually move on very quickly to talking about some of the things that I've been seeing via articles, and talk about some off-season plans for the Chicago Bulls, because I'm seeing already some very important things that I would like to kind of point out to everybody that some people are writing about. I want to talk about it with you guys, and just kind of get my thoughts on it as well, because I think we kind of understand this season is pretty garbage and it's kind of a wash. But what AK said was that the last 28 games of the season, this is after the trade deadline, right? That these last 28 games was going to be evaluation time, right? We're going to evaluate this team for the next 28 games. So obviously there's 5 games left, right? So the evaluation period is almost over, and it looks like the Bulls are going to be on their way to the play-in tournament, but probably not go very far. They're probably going to get eliminated here. So all I'm just going to say is this, that I think in the first 23 games since the trade deadline, that there is a good amount of stuff that we can evaluate already. And I want to talk about it with you guys. But before we get into that, though, I want to talk about some good stuff that I saw tonight, and some stuff that I want to see continue with this team, because this is overall good what I saw tonight from this team. But a couple things just in terms of the box score. I thought the Bulls just pretty much dominated this entire box score all night. Better field goal percentage, better 3-point percentage, better a lot of free throws attempted, which is great. Bulls won the rebounding battle, which they should have. Assists, I guess, were pretty close, but that doesn't really matter too much in my opinion. Bulls had 12 steals in this one. That is insane. 7 turnovers to 21, which was, I think, obviously the biggest difference in this game. So in terms of box score, the Bulls just kind of did everything correctly. I also thought the Bulls just in this entire game, I think that the numbers are going to say differently. Like, the Bulls had 48 points in the paint in this one. I'm just going to say this, though. I think the Bulls played downhill this entire game. I loved the way the Bulls played in this one on the offensive end. They were just going downhill. And it may have not resulted in a paint shot, but we actually saw a lot of get into the paint, dribble penetration, collapse the defense, and then kick it back out for 3-point shots. And I thought the Bulls tonight, especially the catch and think guys, the Patrick Williams, the Ayo Dosunmus, the Alex Carusos, right? Those guys did not catch and think tonight. It was just let it fly. And I was so proud of all of them for just letting that 3-point shot go. Not even thinking about it, just be like, go. Just shoot it. And I was very happy to see that. Now, I don't think this is going to continue, especially if we are in a playing game. I don't think that we're going to see them be as, confident shooting the 3-ball in a playing game type situation. But at least it's a step in the right direction, right? This is something solid that I can take and be like, all right, good. We seen it. We actually saw it here. Let's move forward with it. Wow, so the Bulls actually won tonight. They did. The Bulls actually did win tonight. I think we kind of all expected to win. I know that everyone think, well, the Bulls have been losing to some of the worst teams in this season, and it is true. But I think, with how many guys Charlotte had out tonight, I think if the Bulls didn't win this one, then there'd be a major crisis in Chicago, which I actually unfortunately think that there is some crisis actually going on, so I shouldn't say that. I truly hope that if you're on the Chicago area right now, or honestly anywhere, that you're safe. I know the storms are pretty bad. There's tornado watches everywhere, and I know Arkansas got hit by tornadoes, so please be safe. The winds are very dangerous right now, so just please be safe. As you if you decide to travel, or just stay at home. It's crazy out there right now. So I thought the Bulls tonight, they did a great job of just letting the 3-ball fly, not even thinking about it. Catching and shoot opportunities, the Bulls took advantage of that. And it was overall pretty solid. Bulls shot 31 threes. I still want to see this number get up higher, but I liked the shots that they were taking. Like, I liked the aggressiveness of 3-point range. Like, Alex Caruso shot 5, right? Kobe White shot 5. Where's P-Well? Patrick Williams shot 6. Like, these are the numbers I want to see from these role players, right? Because I know Patrick Williams can hit the 3 ball at a high rate. I need him attempting at least like around 6 per game, right? Kobe White, same thing. 5 to 7, 8, that'd be great, right? But Caruso, he wasn't even thinking tonight, and that's good to see. And then I tweeted this out kind of in the middle of the game, but I thought that even though Levine did not exactly shoot the ball very well, I thought Zach was on full-out attack mode this entire night. Like, I had no issues with any of his shots. He just, for some reason, I don't know what it is about the officials, but they were not giving him foul calls. I honestly think that this number should be closer to like 13 shot attempts, and his free throw attempts should be up to like close to 12, because he got fouled a ton tonight, and they just were not giving him anything. So just give credit to Zach for just continuing to play downhill as Billy Donovan has asked him to, and even though it was a rough shooting night overall, he still put up 23 points. And this is something that I've been kind of talking about in terms of shot selection, shot efficiency, right? Because with a guy like Zach LaVine, right, I have been continuously talking about how he is a modern day type player, right? So modern day basketball, if you look at this specifically, LaVine shot 5 for 12 in the first half, right? And there was at one point that he was 3 for 10. But in that second quarter, he kind of took off and he put up like 10 quick points like that. And it was just a quick 10 points. But the reason why I've been stressing, good shot selection, efficient shots, is because Levine, a guy like Levine, or honestly anybody, right, they can just take off and just suddenly score a bunch of points in a row. And it's on very few shot attempts, right? But also this, even though Zach was only 5 for 12, he still was able to put up 18 points in that first half. A guy that shoots 5 for 12, if they don't shoot efficient shots, right, we could actually see them maybe only have 10 or 12 points in that first half, right? But because Zach shoots the 3 ball, because Zach gets to the rim and finishes at a very high rate, because Zach LaVine shoots free throws, and he gets free throws because he drives hard to the basket, he's able to have 18 points in the first half, right? And so when we look at the box score at the end of the day, we see that DeMar DeRozan made 8 shots, right, and he had 23 points. Levine made only 7 shots. He also had 23 points, right? And big reason why is obviously 3-point differential. They both shot 6 out of 7 from the free throw line. But you see the reason why I stress this, right? Because Zach made 1 less shot, but he had the same amount of points as DeRozan, okay? And so this is the stuff that I really, really, really think is important when it comes to this Bulls team. And I'm happy to see in this game, a game where you should be pretty much taking advantage of this entire team and win by 30 plus, which they did. We saw a really good shot selection from, I think, everybody. I thought Patrick Williams was just letting the ball go from 3-point range, not even thinking about it, not even hesitating, just shoot it. And that's a big thumbs up from me. So I hope this continues, but again, we know that this won't continue. Another thing too is this, guys. We did not post up Vucevic tonight. Like, we saw very few post ups from Vucevic, if any, right? A lot of what Vucevic did tonight was just from pick and roll, and he shot 3 threes. It wasn't going down tonight. Well, I've been saying, if you're not going to be hitting those threes or shooting those threes, right, you gotta get to the paint. Okay. Sorry, I am watching my White Sox actually play very, very well and actually hit the ball, lift the ball in the air. So I am watching the White Sox right now as I'm streaming. So I don't know if you guys can see my South Side shirt here, but White Sox are actually doing well. I'm really happy to see it. So I just think that in this game where we saw that Vucevic, where he wasn't really hitting the 3-point shot, everything that he scored tonight was off the pick and roll, which is what I've been saying that he needs to do instead. Instead of posting up, which everyone keeps talking about, like Stacey King and his ridiculous, it's a simple game. Like, yeah, it's a simple game if the post up is just an inefficient shot, and there's a reason why this Bulls team sucks offensively, because we post up all the time. Well, Vuce did not post up tonight. He shot 9 of 14 at 21 points. That's how it's supposed to work. Everything was through the pick and roll tonight with Vucevic, and that's how it's supposed to work from here on out. But as we know, that's probably not going to happen. So just good stuff, just really good stuff shown all night from the Bulls on the offensive end. I really don't have many things to complain about on the offensive end for once. I mean, when you put up 121 points, which is where I want the Bulls to be putting up consistently, because we see this number consistently around the league, right? I'm not going to complain. But when I see this Bulls team put up 105 points and it is consistent, and that's when I get upset, and I will break it down consistently. So just big thumbs up tonight in terms of the offense. This was just awesome to see offensively. I think we don't really need to talk about the defense, because the defense obviously really sucked. Or sorry, the Hornets really suck. So the defense, we don't really even need to talk about it. But just good stuff to see this Bulls team finally at least do something more modern tonight. And I would like for it to continue, but I know it won't. Other numbers just to kind of look at: fast break points, Bulls had 19, which is obviously great, and then 29 points off of turnovers. This number for the Bulls just continues to be up, or in the high 20s, right? That's good. Continue this if you're the Chicago Bulls. Continue to score off of turnovers, because obviously that is a big part of the modern day basketball. If you score off of turnovers, you're doing something really good. So that's good to see that this has been consistent. But in general, though, I just like the half court offense. It just looked a lot better tonight, and a lot more guys just shooting the basketball more efficiently and at more efficient spots on the floor. So again, Bulls took 31 3-point shots tonight. I still would have liked to see that a little bit higher, but I'm not going to complain too much. You see all this, though. This is the part that I'm very happy at. You just see this big cluster of shots in the restricted area. We saw everybody get shots in the restricted area tonight. Awesome. That continue to do that, because again, that is high efficient shots in the restricted area right here. Most of these shots are going to go down at a high rate. And so just overall good stuff. These mid-range shots, again, I'm not the biggest fan, but unless if DeMar DeRozan's taking it, I'm not going to complain too much, because it's DeMar DeRozan. But I didn't really see many mid-range shots from anybody else, except for like a Vooch, end of shot clock situation, right? So just good stuff. Really, really, really good stuff tonight for the Bulls on the offensive end. So yeah, not a lot to really complain about in this one. And there's a reason why that I put in the title tonight that I wasn't. I said Bulls versus Hornets postgame coverage, which I just did right here. I'm not gonna be breaking down any film tonight, but I put in the title that how much I want to talk about some other things, because I think that it's really important to talk about some of the other things that when it released to the Bulls. There was a Bleacher Report article that I found very, very enticing that I want to talk about. And then Casey Johnson and Sam Smith. Now I don't really like Sam Smith, but I do read his stuff from time to time. But Casey Johnson, the guy that we all know is like the best Bulls insider when it comes to having a connection with the front office, he had a very interesting mailbag that I really want to go over with you guys. So that's actually what we're going to transition into now. It is going to not be that long of a stream. I am watching baseball as we talk here, as my White Sox are up 3-0 against the Houston Astros. So I'm happy right now just seeing that the Bulls won and the White Sox are winning. But it's also right now, I'm sure you guys know about the weather. It is hot, or I guess more so humid, but it's hot in my apartment right now. It is 75 degrees in my apartment, and I don't know how long I can talk without sweating. So if I start to perspire, I am probably going to be ending stream very quickly then, because I don't want to die. I'm kind of just, I'm kind of losing it already, just with how hot it is in here. Let's see here. Good to see dominating win. Yeah. What did you like and what didn't you like in tonight's game? So I guess I could just briefly recap it for UMC season. So I thought the Bulls' offense tonight was great throughout most of the game, and I thought that was really, really solid to see. I thought all the 3-point shooters, like the guys that I've been yelling at to shoot more threes, the guys that are prone for catch and think opportunities, right? They were just letting the 3-ball fly, which was great to see. I thought the Bulls were playing downhill all game, and that was awesome to see. I saw very few post-ups this entire game, which was great to see. Again, I genuinely do not think it's a coincidence that we see this. Like, if we barely see Vucevic post up and we put up 120 points. Like, I just don't think that's not a coincidence, okay? It very clearly shows you that if the Bulls get away from the post-up game, get away from the mid-range, and they shoot a ton of shots in the paint, and then if they continuously play downhill, right, and then kick it back out for 3-point shots, it's gonna work, right? But for some reason, we don't do that consistently. So yeah, I liked a lot of stuff tonight in terms of the offensive end. Sorry, I'm still watching my White Sox. Okay, never mind. But in terms of just dislikes, I didn't have really anything to dislike about this game. Again, I thought the Bulls' offense was a lot better and a lot more modern than usual. I didn't really have any issues because there's like no turnovers. I thought the passing was pretty solid in general. The defense, I mean, again, we're facing a terrible team in the Charlotte Hornets, so nothing really to talk about there. But again, it's just good win tonight. I just don't think this is going to continue, unfortunately, in terms of the offense. But the defense, we all know, is going to be probably fine. Yeah, that's that. So, as I said, and as you probably seen in the title, I want to talk about some other stuff that's not this tonight. Sorry, Oscar Colas is up to bat. Okay. And I want to talk about a few articles that I think is very, very intriguing. That I think is I want to have a big discussion with you guys, and then I want to just kind of open up to you guys as well of what maybe articles we want to talk about. But it is so Paloopa. It is not about the Knicks/Blazers deal. I covered the Knicks/Blazers deal in a previous stream. Just know, though, that what Casey Johnson in that article that he wrote about that Knicks and Blazers deal, it makes a lot of sense. And I do think that there's a high chance that actually happens. I do think that the Bulls are going to be getting a pick from the Blazers and specifically the Knicks pick from the Blazers this upcoming draft. This is a deep draft, and I've heard a lot of Bulls fans say like they want to somehow get a first-round pick. I think that this is a legit possibility that the Trailblazers trade that Knicks pick to us, and then they lift up all their protections off of their own pick. So it's a very big possibility. I do think it's going to happen. Even if it doesn't happen, though, everything's still fine in my opinion. But that's not exactly what I want to talk about. I want to talk about first specifically. It's this mailbag that Casey Johnson released today. So if you don't know what this is. Oh, sorry. Casey Johnson typically kind of does this from time to time. There's a link to it in the chat right now. But Casey Johnson will like have a mailbag that he'll have people send in questions and he'll answer them. And he picks and chooses which ones go in there. But there was something that I was really, really interested in, and it's because Casey Johnson, we know, is the guy that is closest to his, like, he's the best Bulls insider when it comes to this Bulls front office, right? Like, if there's anybody that's going to know what this Bulls front office is going to actually do, it's Casey Johnson, right? Casey Johnson predicted the Patrick Williams pick. Like, he was saying to all of us that, yeah, we probably just be on the lookout for Patrick Williams, because I've been hearing that it's a decent possibility that it could happen. So this mailbag, the part that I found incredibly interesting was this. Okay, so someone asked about the rumblings about DeMar DeRozan will seriously look at as a trade option in the offseason. Okay, and then Casey Johnson answered this here. So he said, first off, management is extremely tight-lipped regarding plans. But reading tea leaves is why I wrote this on the night of February 9 trade deadline following AK's press conference. From that piece linked above, here's what AK said when asked about this, right? And as I brought up earlier in the stream, the next 28 games, which obviously we're down to, like, this is the 23rd game, right? It was to basically evaluate, because AK even said it himself. Now, I think what is very interesting, what Casey Johnson said was this: if Karnisovas truly was using his foul games to foul the trade line to evaluate the team, it's logical to think that he sees at least a ceiling on this big three. DeRozan would have had more value at the trade deadline, but I never heard any transaction on even potential deals, so it's hard to know what his return market might have been. Stay tuned, though. And I find that very interesting that he even said that, because he did not come out and say, oh, DeMar DeRozan's like, no, don't even think about it, he's probably going to be here next season, right? And so if you continue on with this mailbag, he even says something else that I was like, huh, this is interesting. And it's specifically about DeMar, right? Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Okay, so someone asked him, who do you think are the top 3 players the Bulls should keep for next season? And he listed Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, and Kobe White. I find it very interesting that he did not list DeMar DeRozan in his top 3. Okay, I find that extremely interesting that he did not list DeMar DeRozan. So, to me, he's been consistent about Nikola Vucevic because he thinks that you gave up so much to get Vuce that you have to keep him, or at least try to keep him, right? And then if not, you sign and trade him or trade him later, right? But he thinks that these are the 3 guys that the Bulls should be looking to keep this offseason, and then Patrick Williams will be number 4. So again, though, No DeMar DeRozan. I do find that very interesting. And the last thing I'm gonna say is this: he put this here. Sorry, I don't want to. Someone asked him, what will the front office do if the Bulls don't make the playoffs this year? And Casey Johnson, in one sentence, said this, right? Whether they make them or not, the roster will look different next season. Nobody's getting fired if that's what you're asking. Again, this right here seems very interesting, because I think we can all agree that, getting Goran Dragic and Andre Drummond as your two moves, right? The roster does not look different, okay? And Casey Johnson himself has said that he thinks that the roster isn't any different after those two moves, okay? He has come out and said that the roster will look different next season. Like, he is boldly saying that he thinks that there is going to be changes to this Bulls roster, specifically for the starting lineup for next season, okay? And this is whether they make the playoffs or not. So I just find this very interesting to look at, because, again, Casey Johnson, in my opinion, is the person that has the most inside information when it comes to this Bulls front office. We know AK, Mark Eversley, they do not leak anything. It's hard to get anything out of this Bulls front office, but if there is one man that kind of knows what's going on, it's Casey Johnson. So I want to know your thoughts on Casey Johnson really kind of saying that he thinks DeMar DeRozan is probably not going to be here next season, because he, in this entire mailbag, and again, I linked the mailbag, in this entire mailbag, he has been kind of saying that he thinks that Levine is staying, DeMar DeRozan, there's probably a good chance that he is probably gone. And there's going to probably be changes to this Bulls roster next season. So just kind of your thoughts on that. But yeah. Do you think if the Bulls build around DeMar, the team would work out? No, I don't. I think DeMar, if the Bulls build around DeMar DeRozan, who is not a modern day player, right, who relies on the mid-range jump shot, they're not going to go anywhere. DeMar DeRozan, if anything, should be your number 3. And I'm aware that he puts up a crazy amount of points, but you have to understand what's being sacrificed if he's averaging 28 points per game like last season, right? What's being sacrificed is extra possessions. What's being sacrificed is more efficient shots. What's being sacrificed is not getting shots in the paint, right? DeMar DeRozan plays the game at a much slower pace. Therefore, the Bulls' field goal attempts per game is not that high, okay? So if you're going to allow DeMar DeRozan to go off, okay, and just dominate the mid-range, then you have to understand what's being sacrificed here, which is that you're not going to get as many fast break points, you're not going to get as many possessions, and you're not going to get as many efficient shots throughout the game. It's just the truth, okay? That's the reason why DeMar DeRozan, in my opinion, I'd be fine if the Bulls kept him and he'd be a number 3 option, but I just don't see how the Bulls can get another option ahead of DeMar DeRozan and then also keep him. So to me, it's more important to let's get rid of him now, because then we can at least get some value in return for him before he hits unrestricted free agency in 2024, and then we can kind of reset from there, and have a lot more assets to kind of work with. Mark out, although garbage time. I was happy to see that Billy Donovan did play like the young guys, Terry, Dalen Terry, Terry Taylor, Carlik Jones, and Marco. I'm glad they all got a little bit of run. Again, I think Dalen Terry looks great. I love how, like, when Dalen Terry, when I watched him in the summer league and I watched him in the preseason, he was very herky-jerky every time he tried to drive the ball. I thought that he looks a lot more smoother when he's driving hard to the basket. So I think that I like what Dalen Terry has shown me. I know it's like against bad teams, like against Portland and then Charlotte tonight in limited minutes, but I like what I'm seeing. I truly do like what I'm seeing. I'm aware his jump shot needs a lot of work still, but in terms of everything else, in terms of his defensive instincts, his length, and how he uses his length at the defensive end, he can legit get over that pick very, very effectively. He can switch 1 through 4. And I think his ball handling has improved significantly in his time in the G League, and his driving ability and his confidence in when going into amongst the trees in the paint, he looks good. It's just a jump shot now that just needs work, and I do think that it's a foundation issue with him, so it's going to require a little bit of work. I think my White Sox, unfortunately, gave a 2-run homer, so now it's 3-2, and I'm sad. But at least we're still up. But yeah, I think it's interesting with Dalen Terry that, like, I'm seeing already kind of this amount of growth, and it's not even one full season. So I'm actually very interested to see if he how he keeps improving throughout the offseason, because we're gonna see him probably in summer league again, and I'd be very happy to watch him in summer league, because I actually, just a little hint here, I might be going to summer league this year, so I would like to see him in person if possible. But even if he doesn't, I just think that he's going to continue to work on his game a lot, and it's going to be awesome to kind of see his improvement from year to year. On the way back from the game, great one. Lots of Bulls fans down here in North Carolina. Oh, awesome, Richard. I'm glad that you were able to go to the game. And I think this is obviously a good game to choose if you're a Bulls fan. I'm very shocked at how many Bulls fans there are around the world, especially just in different states in the United States. So it's awesome that there are a lot of Bulls fans there. Glad you got to go to the game. Let's see here. Sign and trade. Can a sign and trade work with Io? It definitely can. I just don't think it's going to happen, because I don't really see another team really giving Io an offer that's like really significant. I just think it's probably in the Bulls' best interest just to kind of re-sign him for pretty cheap, and he'll probably just be the backup PG for this team moving forward. And I'll be pretty happy with that, because again, because of how bad this season, or I guess bad, like his numbers again are kind of similar in a sense compared to last season, but the percentages for Io just don't look good. 32% for the 3-point range. I mean, his field goal percentage overall is pretty okay, but we just kind of see that he is not as efficient with from 3-point range, and it is kind of looking. So I also think that defensively he's kind of taking a little bit of a step back. So I just think that the Bulls, because of the lack of cap space for other teams in the offseason, and then what's going to happen with the Bulls in this upcoming offseason, that they're just going to probably resign him for very cheap. It's like maybe like a 3-year, $15 million deal or something like that. If I want DeRozan gone, yeah, I want that. I honestly think it's time. Yeah, Kobe down to AC redundant. It seems if can get a shooter for Io. I'll just say this: like, I think Io, like, I do think that he's going to continue to improve. But as you said, like, if the right trade comes along, I'm trading Io, right? Even though he is a hometown kid, it's hard to tell. I feel like AKM will want to preach continuity again and keep DeMar if they can make a deep run with which probably won't happen. So yeah, I think, especially like just saying, I think the Bulls are not on their path to the playoffs. I truly think the Bulls are gonna miss it. If they don't make the playoffs, I think they're probably thinking we're moving on from DeMar. I truly do. So at least that's my hope. It could just be copium that I'm on, but yeah, DeMar can go. Question is, who would like to take DeMar besides Raptors? Maybe. I think the Denver Nuggets are gonna be interested in him. That's like the only team though, honestly. The other team that I've been kind of talking about, and like this is something that I just don't know how legit it is, but I brought this up in the last stream, but D'Angelo Russell is a free agent this offseason, and we know that DeMar DeRozan wants to go to, or there's been rumors of DeMar wanting to go to LA, right? But D'Angelo Russell is a free agent, and LeBron might want to team up with DeMar. So what could actually happen here is a sign and trade with D'Angelo Russell. You sign and trade D'Angelo Russell to the Bulls, and then you trade DeMar DeRozan to the Lakers. Just saying, if this happens, like straight up, the Bulls won this deal immediately. Because if you get D'Angelo Russell for DeMar DeRozan, that's an absolute win. Especially if DeMar's on a 1-year contract. So, like, the chances of this are slim, but because it's LA, I just don't want to count anything out. Because we saw LA turn one first-round pick into like a lot of good players in the trade deadline. So I'm not going to count on anything, right? I'm not going to count anything at this point. But it's just a possibility, okay? And I want to keep that in mind. Question is, sorry. What's going on, Skokes? Good to see you. I saw that you saw my tweet before the game. And yeah, I think that... the pregame show just continues to make me upset, but good to see you here. I'm glad you're here. Well, keep an eye around and give him one more year to see how it goes. So what I think is actually going to happen here is, like, I don't think the Bulls are going to give Io another like chance at the starting PG spot. I think that's honestly fine. But I would like to kind of keep Io around, because I do think that off the bench he can really be a spark plug. Again, this is banking on the fact that I think he's going to improve a little bit. Especially for year 3. So I would personally, like, again, if a good trade comes around, I'm trading Io, but I just don't really think a good trade's going to be coming around, especially because he is a restricted free agent. And a sign and trade with the amount of money that I'm thinking he's going to get, it's pretty difficult to kind of pull off. So it's just an idea. But I don't think it's really gonna happen. So I just honestly think it's probably in the Bulls' best interest just to keep him, and just maybe wait a year. As you said, I would love to see D'Angelo Russell. I'm not the biggest fan of D'Angelo Russell because I do think that he isn't exactly the smartest player, but in terms of a modern type game, he has it. And if I'm gonna get D'Angelo Russell, who's gonna be 27 or so maybe 28 next season, and I know DeMar DeRozan is gonna be 34 next season on the last year of his contract, and I get D'Angelo Russell for like 3+ years, like that's great. I'll 100% take that immediately. D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves come out. Austin Reeves is a restricted free agent, and I don't think he's going to be coming in a DeMar DeRozan trade. That'd be very, very tough. Always been a fan of D'Lo since he was Brooklyn and then Golden State. I love D'Lo in Brooklyn for sure. Yeah, that's probably the time I liked him the most. Both will be free agents. As I said, the Austin Reeves is going to be a restricted free agent. I expect Austin Reeves to get like $10+ million annually, and maybe even more than that. So. D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves for DeMar DeRozan, that's a lot. I just don't see that happening. So yeah, shift out Marco also basically. And sorry, I'm being blocked by hold on, I'm gonna pop out the chat here just to kind of help me out a little bit. Sorry, my chat's being blocked by an emoji and it's annoying me. Let's see. Shift out Marco, also basically Matt Thomas sitting at the bench. Who knows? Yeah. Do you think a trade with DeMar for Jaylen Brown would work? No. I think the Boston Celtics very clearly understand that they should not go after DeMar DeRozan. Jaylen Brown's had a hell of a year, and I just don't see that happening. Like I think Jaylen Brown is stuck in Boston until he hits unrestricted free agency in 2024. So just saying. And that's when I think that he's really going to push the envelope to like try to leave. That's when he can, control his own destiny. And I just think that if you kind of look around the league, like I don't really see a team unless it's like a team that is 100% like they have superstars surrounding Jaylen Brown, right? That would make him want to stay there. I don't really see a team like being like, yeah, I'm gonna give up assets for 1 year Jaylen Brown, because there's no guarantee that he returns the following year. So I don't see a trade happening, right? For Jaylen Brown specifically. Hold on, sorry, I'm watching Tim Anderson. Oh, good play by Alex Bergman. Duncan, you talked about Jaylen Brown being a target 2024 for us. Do you still think that? So what matters about that is what the Bulls decide to do this offseason, okay? Because, for example, the reason why I'm a little bit skeptical of a Jaylen Brown potentially comes to the Bulls, or even a possibility of him coming to the Bulls, I'm very skeptical of it right now, because if we look at what's happening in terms of the Kobe White situation, right? If Kobe White gets signed to like a pretty decent sized contract, that's going to eat into the Bulls cap space for this offseason. Now, you look at this, you're like, oh, we have $75 million. No, we don't, right? If we re-sign Ayo, it cuts into this. If we re-sign Kobe White, it cuts into this. And we have to also take into account of this Patrick Williams cap hole, which obviously we want to keep Patrick Williams. So the only way to keep him and then also, re-sign him over the cap is if we keep this cap hold on him. Now, what I was planning on before Kobe White kind of, exploded and people are saying we're going to re-sign him, what I was planning on is that we re-sign Patrick Williams to like about $15 to $17 million. We re-sign Ayo, we don't re-sign Kobe, and that leaves about a max contract slot available for the 2024 offseason for the Bulls. But because of the Kobe White situation, I can't guarantee that anymore. So it might require the Bulls to get a little bit more creative in how they're going to be actually able to go out and get a top-tier free agent, and it's probably not going to be just via outright signing. So Jaylen Brown to the Bulls in 2024, like I think the possibility of it has decreased a little bit. It's not out of the realm of possibility for sure, because the other option then, if all things go awry and like you actually want Jaylen Brown but you don't have the cap space, you can just waive Lonzo Ball and stretch and waive his contract to open up about $10 million. So there is that possibility still there. I just don't think that the Bulls front office wants to do that. So I just unfortunately think that the Jaylen Brown to the Bulls type idea is a little bit, it's a little hard for it to actually happen now, because again, Kobe kind of exploded onto the scene a little bit. It looks like he's going to get a contract. Yeah. Do you think Kobe or Io would take team-friendly deals, or do you think they'll be looking for the back? So I think Io is going to take a team-friendly deal because I think that's honestly the only deal he's going to get in this offseason. Again, lack of cap space for a lot of teams, okay? And then also, I think Io's play just hasn't been that good, right? So, in my opinion, Io is going to take a team-friendly deal because that's probably the only deal he's going to get. Now with Kobe, because he is a 4-year now vet, I think he's going to go look for the bag. The thing is, though, is that I question if he's going to even come close to getting the bag because I do think that it's going to be hard for him to get a big contract that he's maybe even looking for, right? Oh my God, Kyle Tucker, what a oh my God, Jesus, sorry, watching baseball. So I think Kobe's going to be looking for the bag. It'll be interesting to see, though. I'm going to guess that he probably doesn't even get that big of a deal because, again, lack of cap space. But if between the two of them, who would get that sort of bigger deal, it would 100% be Kobe because he's a 4-year vet and there's less restrictions on how you can give him money. Because of Io, him only being a 2-year player, there's more restrictions. And it's harder for other opposing teams. Did Tucker go yard? No. Kyle Tucker just took a home run away from Andrew Benintendi, it looks like, or just either way, it was a double. And that would have put the White Sox up by 2, but he took that away. Yikes. 3-2 though, White Sox though. Hopefully that stands. So, yeah, the Kobe White and Io DeSumo situation is going to definitely be interesting. I think Bulls want them both back, but obviously for the right price. And with Kobe, it's just getting more interesting by the day. With Io, I just think he's going to resign very quickly. Oh yeah, Kyle Tucker is always doing something crazy against the White Sox, Patrick. You're 100% right. I honestly think that you can say that about a lot of Astros players against the White Sox. Sorry, baseball. I know this is an NBA channel. So yeah, 2024 free agency, it's very odd right now because of the Kobe White situation. As I said, I've been planning on the Bulls having a max contract slot for the longest time until Kobe White is now looking like he's going to get re-signed. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned, but if let's say, Kobe, if they're planning on giving Kobe a pretty decent sized contract, then they're not planning on having this ginormous amount of cap space for 2024. So therefore, you got to go out and actually make some moves to get some guys here, and that's not via signing in free agency, right? Or max contract signings in free agency. So yeah, just something to kind of look into as we move forward. And just know the Kobe White and Io DeSumo situation, also technically the Vooch situation too. It will determine how much money there is left in 2024. Just saying. So keep that in mind. Either way, though, I would just think that trading DeMar DeRozan would be a good decision because then in 2024, if maybe you do have some cap space, you still have some assets to work with so that even after you make the big signing, you can still go ahead and make the extra move that you need to make. But that's just me. So there's that. Now, I talked about Casey Johnson's mailbag. And talked about him saying like the roster's gonna look different next season. So I don't know exactly what to extent that means, but I've never heard Casey Johnson say this. I think this is very interesting. I also just in this entire article, it looks like this he's kind of saying that DeRozan, there's a good chance he gets traded. So just be on the lookout for that. Now, the second article I wanted to talk about with you guys was this. Bleacher Report released something that I thought was very interesting when it came to the Chicago Bulls. This article was just kind of in general for the NBA. It wasn't specifically for the Bulls, but this article I thought was extremely interesting to look at because it talks about a potential move that the Bulls can make to help out the point guard position in the offseason, okay? And this is under the biggest NBA offseason trades to start thinking about right now, which I think is, there's never a bad time to start thinking about this, especially for the Bulls who have been struggling all season. So links in the chat if you want to look at it with me. So where's Casey Johnson get this from, and what is a return look like for DeMar trade? I'll just say this briefly, Patrick. For DeMar trade, I'm just looking at a young player that it doesn't have that great of potential. Probably a veteran for salary matching purposes, and then maybe a first round pick. I would like to get 2 first-round picks, but because he's on a 1-year deal, I don't think we get that anymore. So there's that. I think Casey Johnson, again, he's the best Bulls insider when it comes to this sort of stuff. And he has the Bulls front office's number, right? So he has, in my opinion, the best inside sources when it comes to this. This Bulls front office doesn't leak anything typically, but we know with Casey Johnson that he has gotten the Patrick Williams thing right. So I'm just going to say that I trust him the most when it comes to this sort of stuff. So anyway, though, when it comes to this was put out today. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I tweeted about this today, because I have been talking about Tyus Jones to the Bulls for a while now, especially with how well he has played as a starting point guard for Memphis, with Ja Morant being out for a significant portion of time, right? Tyus Jones is a guy that I just think would fit on this Bulls roster perfectly. If the Bulls go out and get Tyus Jones, then obviously, come 2024, we're not really even looking at, free agency or like striking big in that free agency. But getting out of Tyus Jones, who I think is worth, $20+ million annually if he's starting, I think would be a really big upgrade for this Bulls team. Lonzo Ball's out for, who knows how long, right? And this Bulls team needs playmaking. This Bulls team needs a pick-and-roll playmaker desperately. And Tyus Jones is that. Now, Tyus Jones, if you're not aware, is also a really decent or pretty good three-point shooter as well. He's also a guy that I think is a pretty okay defender. I know he's pretty short, but at Duke, he was known for being a great defender. But this guy just makes all the right decisions. He has the lowest assist to turnover, or he has the best assist to turnover ratio in the NBA in the past 3 seasons. So he does not turn the ball over, right? And he does a really good job of setting up his players for shots and getting them in the right spot. And in my opinion, if the Bulls get Tyus Jones, I think it helps LaVine tremendously. I think it helps Patrick Williams tremendously. 2 guys that I think the Bulls should be keeping moving forward. But even if, let's say, the Bulls go the rebuilding route, I think Tyus Jones is still just a good option just to have as that floor general out there with the young guys. And a rebuilding route includes Williams, right? So, in my opinion, this just makes a lot of sense. I don't care which way the Bulls are going to be going, but this was something that was brought up. Now, the part that is interesting to kind of look at is the trade that it would take to get Tyus Jones. I have not 100% run through the numbers with this because the trade stuff is this is taking account for next year's contracts. So trade machines they're not updated for next year, obviously. So I think the money, just off the top of my head, it works out in this sort of deal. As Tyus Jones is making going to be making $14 million. We know with Caruso that he's going to be making about 10. Right, and then Dalen Terry is going to be making it close to about 2, I believe, or 3. So, yeah, no, 100% this works out in terms of salary matching. But the trade would be this. It'd be Tyus Jones for Alex Caruso, Dalen Terry, and a 2026 second-round pick. Now, all I'm just going to say is this. If the Chicago Bulls can trade Alex Caruso for Tyus Jones, I am doing that immediately, right? Now, if you're Memphis, you're not going to do that straight up, okay? We know that Tyus Jones is probably worth a little bit more than Alex Caruso. So that's the reason why Bleacher Report threw in Dalen Terry. I would personally like to keep Dalen Terry in this scenario. I know it'd be kind of tough, but I would like to keep him because I do think that he has some serious promise moving forward. And giving up on him after just 1 year, I think would be a mistake. Especially for a guy like Tyus Jones, who I would just question it because you can't really give him an extension. But I do think that he'd resign. It's just, again, just how much risk is involved. I don't like to give away future assets like this in this sort of deal. But just let me know your thoughts on this sort of deal. Would you accept this trade that has been drawn up by Bleacher Report? Personally, I would not accept it because I don't want to put in Dalen Terry. I am willing to give up that 2026 second-round pick easily. The question is then, though, what else do you give up? Like, do you potentially give up Io, which I would be more open to that sort of idea. So this would require, Io signed and traded alongside Alex Caruso, plus the 2026 second-round pick for Tyus Jones. I've also thought about this, though, which I think would be more interesting. Maybe the Bulls just sign and trade Kobe White. and just trade him for Tyus Jones, which, by the way, I would not have any issue with that at all. So if the Bulls can sign and trade Kobe White for Tyus Jones, I do that immediately too. But I know that that's probably not that realistic, so I just unfortunately think that it's pretty hard to pull off, right? So unless you're throwing in a first round pick, obviously, which I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. This is hard to kind of swallow, in a sense. And then the other reason why I'm just like, I don't know how much I really want to give up on Dalen Terry is this. Tyus Jones is also going to be in 2024 free agency. So with him, we know that he's not going to get a max contract when he hits free agency. Again, if you're not aware, Tyus Jones cannot be offered an extension from Memphis. So no matter what, he is hitting free agency, okay, as an unrestricted free agent in 2024. There's nothing that Memphis can do about it. So you can plan for it. So as you can see, he's right here. So if the Bulls maybe don't have, a max contract slot, they may have enough money to get Tyus Jones, obviously. So just your thoughts on this sort of deal. I think Aiken will want to pick back, though, since they value Alex as a first-round pick. So let me say this, though. I think Tyus Jones is worth the first-round pick. So instead of trading Alex Caruso for a first-round pick, you just trade Alex Caruso for Tyus Jones. What do you think about that? What's going on, Box? Doing good. How you doing, Box? We're talking about some articles that I have looked at recently and some offseason plans for the Bulls. Tyus Jones, what kind of player he is? Never zoom into him. Okay, so if you, I'm probably gonna make a video about this later when I have more time. But Tyus Jones, okay. If you're not aware of Tyus Jones, get used to him now, because he's a guy that I think is exactly what Bulls fans are kind of looking for. Okay, now he's averaging career highs this year, and a lot of it is because he is starting a lot because John Morant has been out. But if you look at his just overall, just in general stat line, it's 10 points per game, it's 5 assists compared to 1 turnover or less than 1 turnover. Averages a steal. Biggest thing, again, it's the 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, which is great. He shoots 38% from three-point range, which is obviously something that the Bulls need. They need a three-point shooter, and he takes 4 a game, which is great. He can shoot it off the dribble. He can shoot it catch and shoot. He can basically shoot it anywhere from three-point range, okay? His field goal percentage is about 44%, 45%, which is fine for a point guard, in my opinion. Biggest thing for me is when I look at the per 36 numbers. Per 36, he's averaging close to 16 points per game, about 7.5 assists to 1.5 turnovers per game. We're looking at, again, 6 3-point shots per game, right? And then close to about 13 field goal attempts per game. So Tyus Jones, if you're not aware of him, like when he has started, I'm going to pull up his starting numbers for you guys. He looks really solid when he has started and is getting starting level minutes. Jeff Van Gundy has even talked about him being like a starting caliber point guard that Memphis is very lucky to have off the bench. So just to kind of give you an idea of just how good I think Tyus Jones is, like there's some serious praise for him when it comes to this sort of stuff. He is a very good playmaking point guard, and also a guy that can get his own shot off the dribble, which is something that I think that this Bulls team desperately needs from another perimeter player in the end of it. So here are his numbers when he has started, okay? So this is what we're looking at right here. I'm going to circle it when he has started. He has started 21 games this season. So when he has started, he's averaging 16.5 points per game, 50% from the field, shooting 5 threes per game on 42% three-point shooting. He is averaging 8 assists per game to 1.5 turnovers, and getting a steal and a half per game. And if you care about plus minus box score, which I don't, there's that. Okay. So yeah, this is the reason why I have been all on board with getting Tyus Jones. Right. This is something that I have been saying for quite a while now, and I think that it would be very, very maybe in good overall in general. Everything just to get Tyus Jones on this team. He would come in and be the starting point guard. The Bulls would then have to pay him in the 2024 offseason, which I would hope that he would stay, which I think he would, because the Bulls can give him the most amount of money if they trade for him. And again, Memphis cannot give him a contract extension, okay? So if Memphis does not want to lose him for nothing, then they have to trade him, right, to get something in return for him. So I just personally think that this makes a lot of sense. I just don't know about this specific deal that is being drawn up here. I don't want to give up Dalen Terry, but who knows? If maybe the Bulls have our first round pick this upcoming draft, and then draft another forward, then maybe they give up Dalen Terry, right? So just something to keep in mind. I really think that this guy, it would be perfect for this Bulls team. I really do. As a guy that would not be getting, like max player level money, right? But is a very, very, very good starter in this league, and getting close to about $20 million, maybe a little bit more than per year, right? This would be the guy I would like to go out and get. So yeah, let's see here. If I miss game, should be guy get the W. Yeah. So I thought the Bulls actually they played pretty well tonight. I think when you put up 121 points and you don't post up, it's not a coincidence. I thought the Bulls played downhill. If you want to watch kind of all the rest of my analysis box, you can go back in the VOD. But I thought the Bulls played really well tonight. And then yeah, Zach did not shoot any mid-range shots, but I thought he was attacking downhill. He just got his shot kept getting blocked tonight, which was kind of odd to see. But he also, I thought, was getting fouled a ton tonight, and nothing was called. So that's just my opinion on the matter. So yeah, the weather is crazy. Not a lot of mid-range shots in general. And I think the White Sox just gave up a grand slam, and I'm about to cry. Oh no, they didn't. They gave up a double. But it's gonna be a 3-run double, and now the White Sox are down 5-3. Yep. All right. Well, Sox game sucks right now. Let's see here. Weather is nuts. Point guard that we need to ship out. PG also. I mean, if I'm shipping out Io who's a bench player for a starting level point guard, I would do it. Just saying. Alex Caruso, in my opinion, also is not a point guard. I consider Alex Caruso a wing, so yeah. Or I guess even not. Just I would just consider Alex Caruso a perimeter defender. That's what he is. Tyus Jones seems like a definition of economy player. Yeah. Let's see here. So anyway, we can get Jimmy Butler. No, he's making $52 million. I am not trading for that money, especially when he's going to be 34. Thinking about Jimmy plus Duncan Robinson for Lonzo plus DeMar plus 2 picks, perhaps. If the Miami Heat accept that, they're nuts. This way, he could focus on Tyler Hero and Bam again, and get to make a lot of cap space for 2024. I'm gonna double check you on that because I actually don't think they really have a lot of cap space for 2024 if they do that trade. Because the only guy I'm really looking, I guess Duncan Robinson is getting paid a crap ton of money, huh? Let's see here. So 2024, if you get rid of Jimmy's ridiculous amount of money, but then you add on Lonzo's $21 million, to take out this here. Huh? Okay, yeah. I guess they'd have some money for sure. Not sure how much it would be though. Let's see here. Yeah, I guess I could see it maybe. I just think that if we're getting Jimmy Butler for DeMar DeRozan and a guy that will never play again, that's something that is that's an absolute steal by the Bulls. I just don't see that happening, unfortunately. Did he accept that? Dimension knocked Patrick Riley's door. Yeah, that's what I would also say. I don't think that's happening personally, because I don't think DeMar's value is very high. I mean, I understand the 2 first-round picks, I guess, but that's not enough for Jimmy Butler. And then I don't know what then you count Lonzo Ball and Duncan Robinson. Do you count them as a wash? But I think the Heat get the worst end of the deal because Lonzo Ball probably never plays again. Is getting paid more than Duncan Robinson, who doesn't play. So I don't know. That just seems like they're obtaining an untradeable contract, and then a guy that is on a 1-year deal. I don't know. Kind of rough. Number 40 for Lonzo seems alright though, right? No, I don't. I honestly think that Lonzo Ball is stuck here. I genuinely do not think that anybody's gonna be trained for Lonzo. Like I'm being dead serious right now, because like if we're gonna talk about Evan Fournier, right? I think that with Evan Fournier, the issue is this. Like he's making this much money for this season. Where is he? Yeah, he's making this much money for this season, next season. But then 2024, Lonzo, like Evan Fournier's contracts, or no, I guess it's not. Oh no, it's a club option. So yeah, Evan Fournier's contract is up. Lonzo Ball still has $20 million in 2024, right? So that means then you're basically adding another extra $20 million for another season if you trade for him in this sort of deal if you're the Knicks. They're not doing that. I don't see this happening personally. No shot. I'm aware that Evan Fournier is not playing, but if you're like, if let's say you're swapping two players that don't play but they're both on terrible contracts, one contract goes till 2024 to 25, the other can be terminated in the 2024 offseason. Obviously, the team that can terminate that contract quicker is in the better position and would like to keep that player instead. Anything Evan Fournier had an expiring contract, my bad. Well, it's not expiring, right? Because he is under contract for next season, okay? So next season, he is still under contract and is guaranteed this much money. I'm talking about in 2024, right? 2024, his contract can be terminated. It's a club option. It's a team option. Lonzo's is on a player option, which he's 1,000,000% accepting. So that means then he's accepting that money, and that means they have to pay them $20 million in 2024 or 25, which you would not have to do for Evan Fournier in 2024. So just saying. That's the only reason why. Sorry, watching baseball. Okay. Yeah, there's that. I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Again, if you do not know who Tyus Jones is, go look up Tyus Jones right now. I truly think that this is a guy that I really, really like for this Bulls team moving forward. Oh, yellow on Connor, another hit. Good. Hopefully the Bulls can get something soon. And let's see here. I'm not exactly sure where Tyus Jones ranks in terms of pick and roll percentile, but I'm actually going to go ahead and look at this now. Again, though, I do think that in general, Tyus Jones is just a great playmaker. So there's that. Let's see. Pick and roll ball handler. We're going to go to, excuse me. There's Trey Jones, by the way. Trey Jones is this. So Tyus Jones is about 53rd percentile. So at least it's just better in general, right? It's not incredible, obviously, but it's just better than what the Bulls have. But I just think the bigger thing that we're getting is a ball handler that is not going to turn the ball over and then can help push the pace and et cetera here. This is interesting. I guess John Morant's pick and roll percentile is in the 62nd percent. That's low, in my opinion, for a guy that obviously relies heavily on the pick and roll. But I guess maybe Memphis just doesn't really rely on the pick and roll as much as I thought. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe Memphis is just low. I think if Tyus Jones gets here and is starting every single day, this number goes up 100%. Yeah. If you're wondering about the Bulls in terms of their pick and roll percentiles, you can always just come here. So as you can see, Zach LaVine is in the 67th percentile, which that seems low. We've seen Zach in like the 80 percentile before. DeMar DeRozan, I just saw him. He's in the 92nd percentile. So there's that. Now Kobe and Dragic are here. Patrick Williams is actually, or sorry, Kobe and Ayo are in the 42nd and 43rd and 45th. Patrick Williams actually looks pretty solid. He doesn't get that many opportunities. Yeah, just kind of looking at this, it's not perfect because there's always going to be discrepancies in all these numbers. But it is kind of just to help you get a little bit of a gauge of like where people are in terms of this sort of stuff. As you can see here, if you want to look at frequency, the Bulls, or DeMar DeRozan runs the pick and roll 42% of the time. Zach runs it 35% of the time. And then this is their points per possession in the pick and roll as a ball handler. So DeMar DeRozan averaged 1.07. Zach LaVine averages 0.94, which that seems low for Zach. If we want to compare it to last season, for example, we look at Zach. I already know it's higher. So yeah, Zach last season was in the 79th percentile, and he had a little bit better numbers, right? So, yeah, there's that for you. All right, we're going to move ahead with this. So, yeah, just again, Tyus Jones, look him up. I think it's a good idea moving forward. Now, another article that I want to talk to you guys about from Bleacher Report, okay? This was interesting to kind of look at because this was solely looking at the Bulls, right? And kind of just like, all right, what can the Bulls do maybe in this offseason that Could be good hypotheticals to kind of really talk about. Sorry, I'm watching baseball again. All ties Johnson, I think the Bulls can be competing with other teams for him. Oh, for sure. Which is the reason why I'm like, maybe you go and trade for him now so you don't have to go and sign him in 2024 and compete amongst others. But yeah, trade for a guy in 19 million that contract to be an inefficient player coming off the bench who is net negative defensively. Yeah. Both ties which carry them, some players can disappear. Just want something for Lonzo. Oh, I want something for Lonzo too. By the way, just say, if I can trade Lonzo Ball for Evan Fournier, I do it immediately. Because I know with Lonzo Ball right now, his money is dead money. Okay? But I just know that if you're the New York Knicks, you're not accepting that deal, right? So yeah, I don't know. I'm being dead serious. I'll take anything for Lonzo right now because I truly think that Lonzo Ball is dead money. Okay. All right. Sorry, I just realized the music stopped, and I'm gonna go ahead and start that up again. Okay, so this Bleacher Report article, I do think kind of dips into like the hypotheticals that are really, 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 really on the far end, right? Something that is really, really unrealistic, but we can still kind of talk about it. There are some though that I do think is actually kind of legit here, which is, for example, this one here. This Bulls get a paint protect, which in Mitchell Robinson here, which would be a sign and trade with Ayo Dosunmu, Andre Drummond, and a protected first-round pick to the New York Knicks for Mitchell Robinson. Okay, so I do think that this could be a possibility. I think this is something that might happen if like Vooch is gone, right? If Vooch actually leaves in free agency. I do think that this is a bit much, especially because there is a first-round pick involved. But I'm also aware that this is Mitchell Robinson's value, right? And I'm blanking on his contract right now, but I'm gonna go look at that. Just kind of look at it. And see what exactly the Bulls are getting. Because is he on a 4-year deal? I honestly don't remember. Yeah, he's on a 4-year deal. Okay. So for a guy that's on a 4-year deal and you give up a pick, it's not exactly the worst thing in the world. But I think everyone's gonna be looking at like, wow, we traded Ayo and a first for Mitchell Robinson. But hey, kind of where we're at. Again, I think this happens if Vooch is not returning or they can't find a sign and trade for him. So just kind of keep this in mind. Don't really even want to talk about this one, but yeah, maybe keep this in mind. Now, this is the one I want to really talk to you guys about because this is the one that I'm like, holy. I don't think this is happening, by the way. I think if Portland accepts this, they're ridiculous. But let's just talk about this because they got Lonzo Ball, Patrick Williams, Kobe White, sign and trade, Dalen Terry, 3 first-round picks to the Portland Trail Blazers for Damian Lillard. Okay, now this right here. Okay, this is the like. We're all in option, right? And we all know that Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers, like, we're gonna see if, like, what decision they make. It still seems like Portland's gonna be on the route of like we're gonna try to build around Damian Lillard, right? And so I don't really think Damian Lillard is gonna be available, but this is kind of being thrown out here. Now I'm gonna guess just because of what like, and just looking at these players and just kind of going off of like projected numbers for their salaries, right? Like we got 20 million, it's got 8 million, and they got who knows how much this is gonna be, like 10, 12, 15 million, who knows, and then like 3 million. I think contractually this actually works out. So the money would work out in this deal. The 3 first-round picks, obviously, you gotta give up a lot for Damian Lillard. So this kind of all makes sense. Just saying, I would do this deal. I don't think Portland's gonna do this deal though. But it is something interesting just to kind of think about because it is interesting to think about that what sort of other team right now would have like the assets to go out and get Damian Lillard, right? Who knows, right? And this, it does seem like we're giving up a lot, but like just saying, if I could trade Patrick Williams, Kobe White, and Dalen Terry for Damian Lillard, I'm doing it, right? Lonzo Ball is dead money, so he doesn't even count in this, and then 3 first-round picks is what you have to give up, right? So I personally would do this deal. I just don't know if Portland's going to do this. I seriously doubt it. I think what's probably more realistic is that you're going to see that Portland's going to be like, no, we're going to try to keep building around Damian Lillard, and then if they actually decide to sell Lillard, I don't know what the market is going to be. I don't know how this would play up against the other market, because 3 first-round picks is serious, right? That's a serious offer if you have 3 first-round picks involved. So, it'll be interesting to see how the Bulls would compare to the rest of the market. But I would do this again, though. Who knows? And as Box is kind of saying here, like, if after you trade for Lillard, but then you can trade DeRozan for assets, and then hopefully you can sign and trade Vooch for assets, then, like, you may have given up a ton of assets to get Damian Lillard, right? But then you regain some of those assets by trading DeMar DeRozan and hopefully then signing and trading Vooch, right? So that would kind of be like the idea that everyone's kind of talking about with this sort of thing. So yeah. We'll be able to DeJounte, the Hawks decide to blow it up. So if the Hawks decide to blow this up, okay, which I seriously doubt it. DeJounte Murray, it'll be very interesting to look at, right? In terms of money, I find it hard. Actually, now I think about it, it matters how many picks I'm willing to give up here, right? If the Hawks are actually willing to give up DeJounte, it's very possible, okay, that the Bulls could get him. It matters how many picks I'm willing to give up here. The Atlanta Hawks give up 3 for DeJounte Murray, or I guess technically 3, right? If I'm the Bulls, okay, like, I am saying I'm giving up at max 2, and then I want protections on at least one of them, right? I wouldn't mind this, by the way, if we could get DeJounte Murray now. So yeah, next offseason, DeJounte Murray is going to be free agent in 2024, not this upcoming offseason, the next offseason. The risk, of course, is this, that if you trade for him for next season, then you do run the risk that he could leave in the offseason, right? Now, I think that he would not want to leave because he'd be playing with Zach, and I think he'd be back in that point guard role, which is where he would want to be in general anyway, because he's playing the shooting guard in Atlanta, which he's adapted well. I'll say that. He's adapted well to the shooting guard role, but he is very clearly supposed to be a point guard in this league, okay? As you can see here, he's shooting the most amount of threes per game. So I'd be all for this. If I can figure out the right type of deal for DeJounte Murray, which would be, along the lines of that I'm signing and trading Kobe White, I would be willing to throw in Dalen Terry if the Hawks are actually interested in that. It matters how much Kobe White is getting in terms of his contract. I would try to keep P. Will in this situation, personally. And then throw in 2 first-round picks, probably the one that's later down the road, you protect it a little bit heavier. I'd be willing to do it. So yeah. Then we free up space as well for his new contract. So if, let's say, the Bulls go ahead and do this, for example, right? In terms of like salary cap, then I'm not really too concerned, because I'm only concerned about really salary cap if, let's say, the Bulls are looking to sign DeJounte Murray in 2024 offseason. If the Bulls go ahead and trade it for DeJounte Murray, they have his bird rights. They can just re-sign him immediately via his bird rights, and now you have to worry about it. The problem, again, though, is this. He is going to be an unrestricted free agent in 2024. You cannot offer him a max contract because of the amount of money he's getting, right? Because he's only getting $17 million, you can only offer him 175% of $17 million for his next deal, which is nowhere close to a max contract, right? So you would have to then you'd have to either clear up a bunch of money for the 2023 offseason, which would be kind of rough to do, and then renegotiate his contract and then give him an extension, or you just wait until 2024 offseason, okay? Either one works. And then you would just have to hope then he just re-signs with the team. Ideally a 5-year deal, right? So yeah, that would be the idea with DeJounte Murray if we go ahead and trade for him now. So personally, I would also like to think about this. I know, like, for example, we kind of can base it around this. I would just take out P. Will. Obviously, you're not trading Lonzo in this sort of deal. and one less first round pick. Send it to the Hawks. Who knows what they want, right? But if I can, what would also be interesting is this: if I could trade Caruso and trade Kobe White instead, and then also keep Dalen Terry, and then I would do the side, get trade for DeJounte Murray. I'd also do that, and then see how many picks I have to go up with that, because we all know that Caruso's value is kind of higher around the league, or at least maybe the Bulls value a little bit more than usual. So yeah, there's options, right? The point guard position, there's many options. I mean, I think obviously with Tyus Jones, you don't have to give up as much. DeJounte Murray is obviously the better player and better defender, and was obviously going to cost more. Don't worry about Lillard for now until something happens. But yeah, this is kind of what we're looking at here. And if the Bulls go out and get Tyus Jones or they get DeJounte Murray, I'd be fine with either. Again, matters what we give up. But I'd be fine with either decision here. So yeah, I think we should look at Jakob Poeltl as well. So Jakob Poeltl, if you're not aware, Jakob Poeltl is going to be an unrestricted free agent this offseason. The only way I can see Jakob Poeltl coming to the Bulls, okay, is if the Chicago Bulls go ahead and decide we're gonna not re-sign Vooch, obviously, okay. We're gonna be trading DeMar DeRozan immediately, and then we're not gonna re-sign Kobe White, okay. So we're looking at getting rid of this much money, okay. Now again, it says 11 million right now, but this is $11 million if all these guys do not come back, right? All these guys have to either be let go completely, so we get rid of their cap holds, or they're somehow re-signed, okay? But most likely they'll just let go. So let's just do it, for example, in this scenario. You let Nikola Vucevic walk, you let Ayo Dosunmu walk, you then trade DeMar DeRozan, right? And then, you let Kobe White walk, you then might be able to keep Ayo Dosunmu. Everyone else can walk, right? Then I think you have enough money to get Jakob Poeltl on the team, because Jakob Poeltl is gonna want close to what Miles Turner is getting, right? Which is about $18 million, $19 million a year. Okay, Miles Turner, if you're not aware of his contract, he's obviously getting paid $34 million this season, but that was just for this season. And he's getting paid 20 and then 19 the following years. Okay, so Jakob Poeltl looks at this as like, I want 18, 19 million. Okay. So it's important just to know that's how much money Jakob Poeltl is going to be wanting. It requires some movement to happen, obviously, and it also requires that you just don't retain any contracts in the DeMar DeRozan deal, right? Or at least contracts that are very, very cheap. So yeah, it'd be hard to pull off, right? So yeah. DeJounte's close to Zach's timeline, but Lillard's superstar. It's been 12 years since the last time we had one. Yeah, I mean, again, if Lillard becomes available, I'd go all in, because I'm aware that everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, the Bulls defensively. If you have Damian Lillard and Zach LaVine in the backcourt, how the hell is this all gonna work out? Like, I'm just gonna continue to bring this up. The Bulls this season have been very good defensively, and they have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. Okay, if this team right can be fine defensively, right, then I have no issues with LaVine and Lillard in the backcourt, right? Also, you're probably going to get a rim protector in this sort of scenario, so I think it all works out in the end. Now, I just think with DeJounte, like, if you have DeJounte, what will be interesting is this. If you get DeJounte Murray, that's like your number 3 scorer, okay? How do you get your number 1, right? Or maybe the Bulls just think Zach's the number 1, which I've said consistently, Zach shouldn't be a number 1. But if the Bulls are going to be moving forward, Zach is number 1, and then DeJounte's a number 2, and figure out who your number 3 is. Like, it's not a horrible team. I just question then how you get over the hump, right? How do you get to that next level in terms of playoff contention with that sort of roster in hand? My White Sox are having a meltdown. So, we need balance squad 2024. Yeah, we'll see. Well, we don't have to worry about Vooch because I'm calling right now. He's going to walk. We'll see. all I'm gonna say is this right now. I think if I had to decide today what's most likely gonna happen, I think that Vucevic most likely, it's not like 99% to 1, but it's most likely I think he comes back. I think the Bulls re-sign him to like a 1-year deal plus 1 or something, because of the lack of center market there is, right? If we're looking around in terms of free agents this offseason, the center market is very dry, and there's just teams out there that just don't have cap space. Okay, there's just so many teams that are not going to have cap space. So if Vooch really wants a bigger contract, and then Vooch wants a bigger role, he's not going to find it in many places. Okay, and also win, right? So again, center market, this is it. It's not great. Okay, I think Jakob Poeltl, Nikola Vucevic, and Brook Lopez are your top 3. After that, maybe Christian Wood, and then flip a coin. So the center market I just think is very dry, which means then I think Vucevic is not going to get that much money, which then I don't know what's going to happen. So if I had to choose something today, he comes back. But it's very 55-45 for me right now. Like 55% chance he comes back, 45% chance he leaves. So I'm very torn. What's going to really dictate this is just kind of how the other markets kind of get set, and then we see who maybe opens up cap space and who doesn't, right? And number 2 on Jakob Poeltl, I don't blame you. I do think his free throw percentage might be an issue, but that's about it. I do like him though. My issue is spending that much money for a center does kind of concern me a little bit, but he either walks or gets signed and traded. I don't see him staying for $20 million or less, which is what are going to be offered to him. I agree. So that'll be interesting to look at. P3, it honestly could happen. Again, though, this is if Patrick Williams is your 3rd, okay, that means DeJounte Murray, in just the hypothetical that we've put up here. Zach LaVine's your number 1, DeJounte Murray's your number 2, Patrick Williams is your number 3. Is that a championship level roster? I think that could be a very good roster. I think that's a team that can easily get to the second round of the playoffs. What matters if they can get to the conference finals type level is how good are the role players around them, right? We're talking that these role players have to be out of this world, okay? So that's the thing. It's like it's hard. It's kind of hard to look at that, right? But Knicks have a lot of centers at bench. They do, and I don't know. I don't. Mitchell Robinson's on a pretty decent contract, in my opinion. I did not understand the Isaiah Hartenstein deal. Like, it just does not make much sense, and he wants out. So, yeah. There are 4 people I don't know how feasible it is. DeJounte, Jimmy, OG, and Jakob. So, out of those 4 people, Noel, in my opinion, DeJounte's the most, available, in my opinion. Out of those 4 people, DeJounte's the most available. I think the hardest person to get is Jimmy, because he's going to be making $48 or $45 million or something like that. That puts a big strain on trying to get him, right? OG Anunoby. Now, the third hypothetical trade here that was put up by Bleacher Report is Patrick Williams, Kobe White for sign and trade for a future first round pick and a future first round pick for OG Anunoby. Okay, this is the thing that I think some people, if you ask some people today, right, if they trade Patrick Williams for OG Anunoby, right? I think if you ask some people that question, specifically Bulls fans, they'd say yes. Thing is, though, is that we know the Raptors value OG Anunoby at a very high level. Okay, so in my opinion, it is going to take a trade like this, right, that is listed here at Bleacher Report to get OG Anunoby. So if you're the Chicago Bulls, is OG Anunoby worth Patrick Williams, Kobe White sign and trade, and a future first round pick? It's a tough say, right? In my opinion, it's not. I think, in my opinion, if you would have said to me, okay, Patrick Williams in a first round pick, I'd consider this. I would more lean towards I'm keeping P. Will in that first round pick. If you told me Kobe White and a first round pick, I'm accepting the trade immediately. Like that's obvious, but that's not going to happen. So I don't know. It's rough. If you told me now Patrick Williams and Kobe White, that's also very interesting, and I'd also heavily consider that. I'd probably lean towards no though. So it's a rough one. It truly is rough. OG Anunoby is a very, very good player. Raptors obviously value him very, very highly, so it's gonna be tough to get him. Let's see here. I think center should not be getting too much money unless it's Jokic or Giannis. Yeah, I agree. Raptors going to demand hell a lot for OG. That's my understanding. Yeah. Send it for I don't know how legit the 4 first round picks is, or 4 picks, whatever it was. I'm gonna say that I think the Raptors probably said no to like 2 first round picks, but who knows after that. That's gonna be the 3. They have to retool the bench. Oh, it's not just retool the bench. They have to then get 2 other very quality starters around those 2, right? So yeah, I don't know. Although you consider people an OG version 2, I also see him having higher ceiling than OG. That's fine. Yeah, I don't have any issue with that. Yeah, I mean, even for me, right? It's like if you told me Patrick Williams or OG Anunoby straight up, I'm still having like I still think about it. Like it's not just a straight up yes for me. It's gonna take a little bit. Like I probably in the end I might lean towards yes there, but it'd be a hard yes. So don't trade for OG, just be patient with P. Will. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Sorry, hold on, I'm watching a pitch here. Okay, we're at the show. Commitment to one of our picks at some point. Yeah, I think P. Will should be that guy. And also Dalen Terry, in my opinion. But yeah, I want to include P. Will for OG. Yeah, I don't blame you. Sorry, hold on, another pitch here. Dang, man. My White Sox lose this game, I'm gonna be very upset. Yeah, it is what it is. So, those are the 3 things I really want to talk to you guys about. So I forgot to link this one. I'm so sorry. Hold on. So I linked the Casey Johnson mailbag, which again I thought was incredibly interesting to look at. I then linked an article from Bleacher Report that kind of talked about trades in general for like all teams in the offseason, right? And then this one right here, which is 3 trades, hypothetical trades for the Bulls to do in this offseason. I think the Damian Lillard is kind of off on the deep end. That is just very, very, very unlikely. But it's not impossible, right? So it's not horrible to look at it in the end. Okay. Yeah. Just so if you're not aware of the mailbag, here's something that I just want to say that I think is extremely interesting. Again, Casey Johnson is a guy that I think has the most inside information when it comes to this Bulls front office. Okay. He was asked a question: who do you think are the top 3 players the Bulls should keep for next season? Okay, top 3 players the Bulls should keep for next season. He said Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, and Kobe White are my top 3 players to keep, and then Patrick Williams is number 4. Okay, he did not say DeMar DeRozan, right? He did not say DeMar DeRozan, which I find that so interesting. And then other thing, just for the people that are now just coming in, he was also asked, well, what will the front office do if the Bulls don't make the playoffs this year? He said whether they make the playoffs or not, the roster will look different next season. So I don't know exactly what that means. I have not heard Casey Johnson say that though before, about especially since the 2021 offseason. So I just expect changes happening and for next year. So I expect at least one major change where at least one starter is going to be different. Maybe it's the point guard, maybe it's DeMar's gone, who knows? But I do expect some sort of kind of major change happening. Yeah, we'll see which way they go, because I mean the rebuilding route is a possibility here. Like they could just decide, yeah, we're going to rebuild. I seriously doubt it, but who knows? We'll see what happens. Terry's great, has a great package. Screen's future all-star. He is long, as motivated, his energy spares, dribbling is decent, he can only improve. His vision is good, and he's still kind of raw. Yeah, I would like to keep Dale and Terry around for sure. Nobody gets fired means Billy Donovan will be around until 2030. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm seeing too. Yeah, I won't be shocked about that. We also know, like, I think this is more so about like AK and Mark Eversley. They're not getting fired anytime soon, right? Which they shouldn't. Like, I'm aware that they've done some bad trades. There a lot of people are upset at him, but AK and Mark Eversley, they deserve more than just 4 years to kind of figure this thing out, right? So yeah. I think Billy's all right based on league standards. I think what makes him all right though is his defense. I think his offense is atrocious and is at like bottom tier in the league, which is kind of my issue. Is that a home run? No, it's not. Dang it! My White Sox lost. Kind of figured that this would be the day that I kind of figured the White Sox would lose today. So Patrick, oh, sorry, I just realized that Patrick said something that I didn't. No, I answered him. Oh, do you think LaMarcus Aldridge is a Hall of Famer? No, unfortunately not. Yeah. The only for Billy to save his job is to bring him Dame, give the guy that doesn't need a coach to lead the team, and Billy will be golden. I think Billy's job, unfortunately, is safe even without Damian Lillard, so I don't know about that. BD, I know Unstoppable, you really don't like me. I'll just say this. I'm not a fan of Billy Donovan this season. Like, I'm straight up, I cannot stand that this Bulls offense is so atrocious. It's so bad. Why are we down here? Like, this Bulls offense is down here with like the rebuilding teams, and except for the Miami Heat, right? Like, that to me is just inexcusable. The thing is that's going for him is his defense. The defense is good, so yeah, to me he's just like, he's average, but he's like on both ends of the spectrum. He's like good defensively, but he's terrible offensively. It's like I don't know if that's worse than just being average in general, right? Yeah. His offense is laying the all-star cook. His offense is based around what the two non-modern style players want, right? The two players that want to post up and want to shoot mid-range. That's his offense is based around. And it's stupid. You can't do that in today's league. You just straight up can't. Like, there are guys that relied on the post up and relied on the mid-range before in this league, and they adjusted, right? But there's difference. One quick baseball thought on Leo Garcia. I'm happy he's gone. I'm very happy that Rakan decided to get rid of him. He needed to go quickly. Yeah, good decision. Alejandro Alberto. So there's that. I'll explain to you more later because I'm probably gonna see you later, Patrick. That's kind of why we need a good point guard, man. Just gotta think about Luka. Luka's not going anywhere. I want to find him, approach him, and scream to his face. Billy, get on to the program, bro. It's 2023 already. Yeah, I like that too. So this is the reason why. Like, if Billy's gonna stay here, okay, this is the reason why. I'm like, the front office, they have to make some moves here, because if Billy is only given modern style players, I feel like he has to play modern or coach modern style basketball. I just straight up think he has to, right? So that's the reason why I'm like, I want to just see this Bulls front office bring in modern style players, okay? Bring in modern style basketball and make Billy play modern style. I honestly think I'm interested to see how it's gonna go. He's a player's coach, right? So if he's truly gonna be a player's coach and then the players want to play modern, here you go, right? Now run Princeton 1 second, seconds or less, anything but whatever the heck we are supposed to be running now. I mean, not gonna lie, I would like to see possessions, the time of possessions for the Bulls get cut in half a little bit. Like, the Bulls have a lot of long possessions, and there's a reason why the Bulls at the end of the day, like, they'll shoot a high percentage from the field, but they take like 20 less shots compared to the other team, and it's just not shocking. Because again, when you run slow basketball, when you run 90s basketball, you get less possessions per game. So And like, I'll just say this. With Mike D'Antoni's offense, okay, I'm not a fan of Mike D'Antoni's offense. Like, just, it's like, live or die everything, right? Like I said, Mike D'Antoni, in my opinion, with the 7 seconds or less, and it's just like threes, layups, everything. Like, I think if you only shoot threes and only shoot layups, I think that's a recipe for disaster as well. But what I'm saying is that I need this Bulls team to shoot more threes, because again, you're dead last in 3-point attempts per game. I'm not saying you need to shoot 50. I'm just saying that you need to shoot more. Okay, again, dead last in 3-point attempts per game. We shoot the most mid-range shots per game. That just needs to decrease. I'm not saying eliminate. I'm just saying decrease it. And then I need to see more points in the paint, which we're 19th in points in the paint, which that is too low. So it's everything, right? Everything needs to just be better from this Bulls team in terms of offense. And Billy Donovan should know that, but things happen. You're describing the box, everything that is the offense right now for this Bulls team, which again, I don't get it. I just truly don't get it. Yeah, that's that. So I'm just gonna if you guys aren't aware, I did say that I was gonna end stream earlier tonight. First off, for all the people in the Chicago area, I truly hope you're safe. It is ridiculous weather out there right now. So please be safe right now. Please get inside. Winds are nuts, and then obviously tornado watches are in effect. So please be safe. But in result of the weather, it is hot in my apartment. The temperature rose, the humidity is high, and it is currently 75 degrees in my apartment. So I did say that if I do start to sweat, that I'm probably gonna be ending stream soon, which I unfortunately am sweating. And it's just from me talking, and it's hot in here, and I'm not happy with it being so hot and musty in here because of humidity. And unfortunately, I don't get air conditioning in here because that's how Chicago works. And I'm in an apartment, so I will be ending stream a little bit in a few minutes here. Grade 3. Did tornado touch down? I don't know what happened. Let's see here. Illinois. Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, tornado did touch down. Central US. Interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, all I'm gonna say is this: is that I am very grateful that my family is safe. I'm also grateful that I am safe right now. Level 3. I gotcha. Don't worry about it. Unstoppable. I got what you meant. Yeah, just please be safe. Patrick, I'm glad you're safe because I know you're also family. So, yeah, please be safe. It is very tornado weather right now. And I know for Chicago there was a tornado watch until like 10 tonight, which I think it just ended or is about to end. So yeah, just it is. Yeah, just please take precautions. Because it is not good weather out there right now. So just please be safe. And then who knows, man? I'm also concerned about tomorrow. I'm worried. I think the weather tomorrow's supposed to be better, but yeah, things can just get worse. Thank God we don't have tornadoes in Greece. We got earthquakes and stay safe, guys. Yeah. Yeah, tornadoes, man. So in Illinois is not supposed to be Tornado Alley, but because of climate change and just recent other events, I'll just kind of put it there. We're getting tornadoes up here, or like it's good tornado weather up here. So, like tornadoes have happened in Illinois before. It's just like I'm concerned about this year for a big reason. And the fact that we have a tornado on March 31st is not good. Doubleheader at Maine South got canceled tomorrow. Oh no, that sucks, Patrick. But yeah, I mean again though, safety, right? It's smart. So yeah. Okay, so in the end though, I just want to say this. Like, I want to wrap this up by saying this thing. Again, I'm gonna link this Bulls mailbag thing because I do think what Casey Johnson said here was extremely interesting. Okay, I'm expecting some sort of big change come next season, specifically to the starting lineup. All right. Or at least I just expect a significant player to be on this roster that's different from this roster. it's currently constructed. Okay, so Casey Johnson has hinted at this, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna trust him on this. He hasn't like full out said it, but I'm also aware that like he can't really full out say it, right? And again, this is the guy that I trust the most in terms of Bulls insider information when it comes to the front office. In terms of guys that I think the Bulls could legitimately go after this offseason to address the point guard position, Tyus Jones is number one, as I've been kind of consistently saying, because I do think that he is not going to cost as much. But then also, if the Bulls can get DeJounte Murray, I think it's 100% worth it, especially if you can actually trade him more for some assets. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Tyus Jones and DeJounte, because those are two guys that I do think that could significantly help this Bulls team moving forward, and would be kind of what this Bulls team would kind of want, or what this front office would specifically want. So yeah, just keep those guys in mind when moving forward. One other kind of article that I was kind of looking at. Let me see if I can find it here. I might not be able to find that. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm not gonna find it on this actually. Never mind. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this one. But the other thing was that Sam Smith did have another mailbag, and like I kind of read Sam Smith from time to time, but he also said some interesting things. So if you want to read his mailbag too, you can go look it up. It's on Twitter. But just these articles, in my opinion, like I just find it so interesting that this like all happened at once, right? Obviously, like, you know, today was game 77, so you know we're really close to the end of the season here. So we're obviously looking towards the offseason, but you know it's kind of shocking to see like Casey Johnson had an article or a mailbag, and then Bleacher Report had two of these articles about the Bulls in the offseason. So just be on the lookout, because it kind of seems like this Bulls team again is not going to go to the rebuilding route, which I've said that they shouldn't. And they're actually looking to try to figure out ways to upgrade this roster. And it'll be very interesting to see how AK and Mark Eversley are going to be actually able to upgrade this roster with limited assets right now. Do they actually trade DeRozan? Which, in my opinion, from Casey Johnson and what I've kind of been seeing, like, I think that's kind of where we're leaning towards right now, is that DeRozan is going to get traded in the offseason, which I've been calling for. But I'm not going to believe it until I see it. Okay? Like, again, I think that we're leaning towards that way, but I'm not going to believe it until I see it. So, I'd like to see it happen. I'd like to see DeRozan get traded, and I'd like to see this Bulls team address the point guard position, because that desperately needs to get addressed immediately. So that this Bulls team can start playing, again, more modern style basketball moving forward, and we can start really maximizing a lot of the guys on our roster with a good point guard, right? And playing fast, playing downhill, getting more shots, right? Shooting more efficient shots. It's all just going to maximize these guys when it comes to this Bulls team. So just be on the lookout for that. But once again, I want to say thank you to all you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Had a great discussion with you guys tonight. Bulls got a really solid win. Honestly, it's crazy. I had no issues with the Bulls on offense, honestly, tonight. And good win against the Hornets. Bulls are going to be taking on Memphis on Sunday, which I just do not feel good about this game whatsoever, which I've expected that Bulls going to be an L anyway. But the last four after that, Atlanta, which you need to win this one in my opinion. Milwaukee, Dallas, Detroit. It'll be very interesting to see how this Bulls team finishes the season, and then if we can actually fully guarantee ourselves a spot in the play-in tournament in the next few games or so. But thank you guys so much for watching tonight. If you have not hit the like button already, I would appreciate it if you do, and then subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, y'all.